this is George Tabora with Union Home Mortgage. I'm a loan officer here in the DMV, and I'm really excited about the guest that we have today, Jael Thomas, an amazing real estate agent, investor, and I know that she's going to bring some valuable tips as well as give us a good background of who she is, where she comes from, and give you a little taste of what Jael does here in the DMV herself.
Thank you so much for having me, George. First and foremost, it's an absolute honor, and I just want to tell everybody this is my first time on this side of the interview table. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm just really happy to share from the beginning to where I am now and how that journey came about.
Yes, and I know that when me and you first connected, we were both on a very similar path.
Yes.
And we connected and aligned, I think, perfectly. And I love to have seen the growth since our first conversation, and a couple of things that we'll go over in this interview, but I just saw on your media and just very impressed.
Thank
from
you.
Day one, and I'm continuously being impressed as you grow. So tell us, I know that you're a DMV native. Give us a little background about Jael, and what inspires you to get into real estate, some of the challenges in life that may have pushed you to choose this as a career.
Absolutely. So I think with every great step of progress, there is a story behind it that people just don't know and don't see. I am born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia, and I grew up in a family home that's been in my family for 5 generations. So I think that's really where the love of real estate started, and knowing that generationally you can pass down something that means so much to people in your family over time. And my parents were real estate investors since 2006. So I had the privilege at a young age to be immersed in real estate and be the administrative assistant in that business. But along my career in high school and those different things, your life takes twists and turns that you probably don't foresee, of course. And I was able to get my cosmetology license in the 11th grade. I passed the state board exam, so I was always an entrepreneur, and that was always something that's been in my heart. So I used that to support myself through college. I graduated high school with a 3.96. I received only 1 B throughout my whole career, but guess what, guys? I did not love school. And I was already doing acting and modeling at that time, and I really wanted to pursue just being an entrepreneur and not go to college at all. But being from a family where a lot of people did not go to college and graduate, it was really, really hard on me to say, no, I don't want to go to college.
Right.
So I actually got into a lot of different schools, and I chose to go to Virginia Commonwealth. And from there, I had a blast, really.
Yeah.
I wasn't super focused on school. I didn't end up finishing. I stayed there for 5 years, and it just got harder and harder to keep going. So I did end up dropping out of college. And then after that, I was super lost. I didn't know what to do next. Always been super spoiled, super well off, and first car was a Lexus, and I'm just like, how am I going to support this lifestyle with a traditional job? And it just was not my personality. So, a couple years went by, and I was like, what can I do? I was in the service industry. I was a server. I was a bartender, still had an entrepreneurship passion, still doing bartending gigs for private parties and stuff, but it just wasn't something I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. And finally, in 2020, during COVID, I started studying for my real estate license. And in January of 2021, I actually obtained it, and from there, it's history.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just to say the least right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's around the time I got my license too, ironically. January of 2021, studied in 2020. So
everybody was in the house bored. Like, what are we going to
do? and I had a similar backdrop with you where it was like my dad was a small businessman. I worked in his small business and working in the service industry. So I think all of those things prepared us for this moment.
The other part is that both of my parents outside of real estate had corporate backgrounds. My mom was a senior executive for Verizon. She had people like the White House as her clients, and she worked very hard for 30 years. My dad is a DC fire lieutenant for 30 years. They worked really hard, and I just said, I don't want to work that hard for someone else because I saw so much of their time going into their job, but they still decided to do real estate investing in the meantime, but they just didn't have the time to put into it that they really wanted to. So that was big for me with the entrepreneurship piece, seeing that.
Yeah, I think that's That's awesome, because there's going to be that time where we see our parents. Of course, we admire them and we're so proud of them, but they always want us to learn from things that they've done in their life. So I think for you to even, step up to the plate to say, and be like, you know what, mom and dad set a great path for me, but I just want to do something that I feel is right for me. And it takes a lot of courage, I think, to be an entrepreneur. We all know nothing's guaranteed.
Right.
You have to hustle hard. You have to constantly network, engage with the community, and I think you do very well with that.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to hear some of the things you've got going on in the community. But with what I learned from you in the beginning, I know that you're big on the creative financing side, coming up with, ideas that are sometimes outside of the normal, So tell me a little bit about that. How do you usually leverage, and if you have any experiences of having a situation where creative finance came up because, the traditional way just didn't work?
Absolutely. So I'm a super creative person, and my parents are super supportive of me being an entrepreneur, so that really helped, especially during that first year. A lot of people don't know. Some people come out of the gate as an agent and have major success, but a lot of people quit within their first 2 years as a real estate agent. It takes a lot of grit, takes a lot of hard work. It takes having a book of business. And what happened for me is, in the first year, I wanted to do it all myself. Within my first 3 months of having my license, I started getting expired listing leads and cold calling. And I was just like, I have to be a listing agent, because in that market, homes were getting 8 to 10 offers and selling $100,000 over asking. So for me, I said, well, how can I win in this market? I have to be a listing agent, even though I'm brand new. Within the first 6 months, I got my first listing, took that to term, super hard transaction. Then I had hard transaction after hard transaction. I'm like, what is this? So what I realized is I, came in thinking I'm going to be rich overnight as an agent. That's not the case usually. And I thought I would be helping first-time home buyers, but really I saw that there was a need to help people figure out their next step. There was a need to educate people. There was a need for people who didn't always have a way to go traditionally, but I don't want to tell them, no, I can't help you.
Right.
So I had an older gentleman who had purchased a home in 2008 when the mortgages were really bad. And in the year of 2021, at the end, his house was still, he owed more than what it was worth after paying a mortgage for that amount of time.
Yeah.
He was almost 80 years old and in foreclosure, 2 months behind on his mortgage. And I tried to list the home. I tried to sell it off the market, and nothing worked. So I said, I'm not going to tell this man I just can't help you, ruin his credit, ruin his life, have so much debt on him, also had medical issues. So I enlisted my mom, because we do have a nationwide real estate company, and we help people in pre-foreclosure, behind on their taxes, inherited homes, and just tired landlords or too many repairs. We can do this all over the country. So when we finally saw a video on Bigger Pockets, it was Pace MORBY.
Okay.
And he was talking about creative finance. And shortly after this, while we were in the middle of helping this gentleman, something very traumatic happened in our lives. We all are a big family. We live together. We all share the same space, and we were displaced out of our home for 8 to 9 months because of a huge disaster that happened there. And basically, we were in a hotel when we finally did see this video and meet and see who Pace was. And we decided to take the leap of faith and join his community so that we could help this man out of this situation. And it was a pretty costly price, but they do allow you to do payment plans and stuff like that. So we said, we're going to take the leap of faith and do it. Within our first 30 days, we found somebody in the community that did the paperwork. We assumed and took over his mortgage. We didn't assume it. We took over his payments.
Okay.
We got him out of the situation. We got a family in need into that house to start renting it out to pay more than what the mortgage was. And we made a $10,000 assignment fee and made all of our money back that we put into the community in 30 days.
Wow.
And it was like, wow. After that, everything changed for me.
Yeah.
Because creative finance is not a one-size-fits-all. It's an extra tool in your toolbox as an agent. It's something that you can offer people who have no other solutions instead of turning them away.
Right.
So I look at creative as a tool. It doesn't fit for everybody, but when I can give a seller or a buyer options, that's why they want to work with me.
Yes.
Because I can do the hard stuff that nobody else can do.
Right.
And so now almost all of my business is referral based.
Because they see that you're able to do what a lot of people haven't been able to do for them.
I find solutions for people, the hardest ones. I had a man with a reverse mortgage. He was 88 years old, and I was helping him sell and buy at the same time. And he literally almost lost everything after paying off his home for 30 years. He pulled out a $50,000 loan. They charged him an astronomical amount of interest on that loan in closing costs, and then every single day the interest rate was going up. So by the time we went to sell his house, the loan had matured to $365,000.
Wow, from $50,000.
And it was from someone soliciting, calling people over 65 years old to see if they wanted to pull out equity in their home because, of course, they're on a fixed income.
Right. And
he was a veteran and 88 years old and lost a home that he had paid off in 30 years. Wow.
And just one call from someone to try to get him.
And they didn't tell him that, interest is going to go up every day and all of that stuff. All he heard was, oh, you can pull money out. This is going to be great. Right. We won't kick you out until you die. But once the loan goes to more than what the house is worth, they do kick you out.
Yeah. And I think that's really important because I'm sure you've seen it a lot of times. People are misinformed and misguided. And it's sad because, like you said, this guy was an 88-year-old veteran and basically spent 30 years paying off this mortgage to then have somebody take advantage of him, and now he owed.
Yes, owed more, and his family wasn't there, and he didn't really read all of the documentation. It all sounded good. Someone came to his kitchen table with a package full of documents, and he signed them.
Wow. And that's like one of the things that, with me as a loan officer, like I love to educate my clients.
Yes.
Like, I love to go over the closing costs and itemization sheet and not just like expect people to know what they're looking at, because
I can attest to that.
I see it every day, right? I mean, but this is maybe the first or second time they've ever seen something like this.
Absolutely.
So it's our job as the professionals, as the experts, to make sure our clients are understanding what they're getting into.
Absolutely.
Because we both know homeownership, as great as it is, it's also a major responsibility,
And it's usually the biggest investment somebody's ever going to make in their life. And I can attest to how you deal with clients, what your client service is, and that's why I love working with you, because it takes a team of people to make it stress-free for the client. And remember the biggest client we've ever had, that I've ever had, and we did together. They had another loan officer that was pestering them, trying to get them to go with them. And guess what he did? He sent them a link, said, go ahead and fill out the application. You picked up the phone and pre-approved them over the phone and explained everything to them. That made all the difference.
Yep. And I remember when I put together the presentation for J2, I used a program called Mortgage Coach. And he was like, the other loan officer didn't even give me any options.
Nope.
So I won his heart over just by giving him options and explaining what these options were with different interest rates, buying down points, not buying down points, finding out what his concern was. His goal was the lowest monthly payment. So I said, okay, so this would be the better one for you, Mr. J. And he's a homeowner and was happy with everything that me and you did for him.
Yes.
So I think that communication and explaining to our clients is vital for not just the home purchase, but how they feel after the home purchase, right?
Like they're not being taken advantage of. Even if they're pre-approved for $375, if they tell me that they want to pay X amount monthly, then we're looking in that price range.
Exactly.
Because it's about helping the client, and I know a lot of people are commission driven, but you get more referrals when you do right by people. You get even more abundance when you're actually caring about your client and the person and making sure they understand. You touched on two great things: options for people and education. Don't just push them through the process, teach them along the way.
Yep, exactly. And then you said you have clients for life that way, because now their brother, their sister, their cousin, their best friend is going to be referred to you because of the experience they have. So I think that's huge, and it kind of leads me to my next question. When it comes to that client experience, what do you think is the essential? I think we kind of hit some of the points already, but what do you think is the recipe for success for not just us, but for the client most of all?
The recipe for me is, remember, I come from a client service background. I know how I want to be treated when I go into a hotel, when I sit down at a restaurant. I need a 5-star experience. I'll pay more for that.
Right.
So when I go into meeting with the client, first and foremost, we're having a consultation that's in depth. I'm going to ask a lot of targeted questions and listen. Listening is number one, because you may say, oh, people just want to save money. Not everybody. Some people have a lot of money to put down. And just like Jay, I'd rather spend less every month.
Yep.
So you have to really listen to your person's needs and then figure out how you can fulfill them. The second thing that I do is I over communicate. I let them know every step of the process, whether I'm on the listing side or the buying side. They know how many showings we have. They know what the feedback is. They know how many people have come into the property within the first week. If they want to be overpriced, I'm already letting them know this is where I am on price, so we need to do a price drop in 7 days if we don't have any traction.
Right.
So when I do that, it's very rare that I'm going to lose a sale or, a client. And even on the buyer side, they're nervous.
Yeah.
It's emotional. They have no idea what's next. So before we even go into the process, I'm going to say the inspection report's going to be 50 pages long. Yeah. Don't get scared about that. That's normal. All we're going to focus on is major systems. Little cosmetic things, we can handle that.
Right.
I'll get you seller contribution if these things aren't right. Or we'll cancel the contract and move on to the next stage.
Right.
So all of these things are addressed up front. Also with the lending process, there's going to be a lot of paperwork. There are going to be a lot of things that you need to have in place. So let's make sure that your work history is right.
Right.
All of those things up front. But it also came from failing forward. Trust me, I've seen the other side where I didn't know the complete lending process and the work history was off and we lost it at the end.
Yeah.
So then when I experience those things, I implement them and do better in the next transaction. So don't be afraid to fail.
Right.
That makes you even better.
Right. Like you fail forward, right? Because at least you have that experience under your belt to know what not to do the next
Trust
time.
me, it sucks when it happens, but
I believe that.
It makes you better.
Yep, for sure. I've definitely had my moments where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I'm in this situation.
I can't believe I missed that, or I can't believe I did that. But it happens, guys. Don't be hard on yourself about that.
And I think where you said basically setting the expectations, right? Where it's not a surprise. Where I think a lot of people just kind of like give people information little by little by little, and people are like, well, I didn't know that, so I would have never done this. So I think it's very important to just be very transparent up front. And I think that's why a lot of my clients like working with me is because they're like, wow, you're just straightforward.
Absolutely.
There's no beating around the bush, no like, oh yeah, of course I can get you the lowest interest rate. Over promising and under delivering.
I'd rather under promise and over deliver.
Exactly. And just let them know what might happen and what might not happen, and I think that's the recipe as well.
Absolutely.
I agree with everything you said, because we're the professionals, we're the experts, and we need to lay the foundation. And if there's a weak foundation, as you know, the building will come. Yep, exactly. It'll crumble, it'll come down, and everything that you thought you built is no longer there.
And we're not fooling them. These folks are savvy.
Yep.
They know what to expect. They've had great service, so we need to provide that.
Yes.
That makes all the difference.
Yep, definitely. I think that's key for us, is to just lead the way, set the standards for this industry. Even though some of our colleagues might not be doing some of the things we're doing, hey, we're doing it the way that we know works, and we see the results from it. So
Absolutely.
I love to hear that. Another thing that I was wondering is, I know you mentioned Pace MORBY in the community, which, by the way, I was about to sign up, and the investment that she made, I know, was huge. When you hear that story and you rewind this back, like, it wasn't a little chunk, sum of money, guys. I've seen it. I backed away. So I wish I had the courage that Jael did when she did the move in her situation. But how are you leveraging communities like that, or systems, tools, different things that you're constantly educating yourself on market trends and seeing things that may be overlooked?
Yes. So first and foremost, we have been, basically my mom and I are business partners, because we have our nationwide company. So we actually join together. So if you come in with an LLC or a joint partner, you guys can split the cost. So we love that. And we were like, it's not as big of an investment between two people. And also, PACE has allowed us to have a one-time membership fee for so much value. He pours into us. We have a portal of videos. I have all of the documents I need to succeed in doing creative transactions. I have now a community of 13,000 people. We have someone in every state, in every county across the country. That's how I'm able to do business nationwide. Thirdly, he actually vets everybody that comes in. So you have to be a good person. You have to be a giver to your community. Not everybody is accepted into the community. That's the great part. So I always joke with him and say, you found everybody I need and put them in one place. So just think about how much time you're saving yourself from going through people who may be scamming or doing the wrong thing, where I just know I'm already in a community with great folks that I can reach out to. The other part is everybody helps out for free. Because just like I told you, someone helped me as soon as I got in, now I do that for other people. And now the people I do that for are going to do it for somebody else. So it's like paying it forward. So it's cut down my time of trial and error tremendously because it's like a fast track to success. One thing we learned from being in the community is that you have to pay to get in certain rooms to propel your future much quicker. The last event we paid to go to was in Scottsdale, Arizona. The net worth in the room was $1.9 million a person. And it was 300 people in the room.
Wow.
And I learned how to buy businesses creatively in strategies where I can do $0 down to literally take over someone's business and help people who are basically on track to retire, who would have to sell their business and take a loss, or whose kids don't want that business, where I can come in and become an equity partner and pay them for no longer working in the business, and they have a retirement plan now.
Wow.
These are things I would never learn unless I paid to be in that room. We went to a mansion party, ATV rides, and Fogo de Chao private room, just networking.
Wow.
I met someone that owns a bank there. He's a billionaire. Just that one contact alone. He's already financing deals. Sometimes I get paid connector fees to bring money to other people's deals. 1% of 2.5 million is 25,000.
Yeah. Wow. Just to connect.
Just from being in these rooms and this mentorship.
Yes.
I absolutely love PACE. Just teaching everyone how to give back, how to be great. He gives tremendous amounts of money. He even just gave a student a car.
Wow. Yeah, I've watched Pace over the years, and I love what he does. One of the things that he mentioned when I was first watching him is a book, The Go-Giver. So you mentioning that he's a giver, he preaches it from day one.
Absolutely.
And when I first got introduced to him, so always been a fan, and I'm a fan of you as well because I saw that interview you did with him, and then you did an interview not too far after with Jamel. How are your feelings when you were actually sitting in front of the person that created this $1 billion network that you're a part of?
So first, I was pretty nervous. So because of PACE and because of one of my close people, Mamadou, in the community that helped us on our first transaction, they were like, you have to start a YouTube channel. You have to clone yourself. You have to duplicate yourself, because just you and we get asked the same questions over and over and over. Why aren't our clones out there working for us? So I started a YouTube channel in January of 2023. And 6 months of having that channel, I went hard. I posted a lot of videos, a lot of content. I messaged Pace. He always tells us to DM him. He always responds.
Wow.
I was like, I know probably a lot of people have asked you, but will you please be a guest on my YouTube channel? If it's a no, it's okay. I know you're super busy. Within about 30 minutes to an hour, he was like, sure. He said, all I did was go check to make sure you really have a channel and you're active. He said, people ask me to get on their Instagram Live. He said, that stuff disappears. He said, I will get on your channel because you're putting in the work.
Right.
He said, yes. Do you know I over-prepared? Just like I over-communicate. I went, I found a great space, paid for that, got my interview questions, sent those to him in advance, created the thumbnail, made sure that I was super prepared, practiced, came up with a great intro. And then he surprised me. We did it through StreamYard. And he said, I'm going to link it to my YouTube and my Facebook as well. And that's what took me to the next level. Then he told me on my interview, I'm going to make all my friends let you interview them too.
Wow.
And I said, who's next? He said, ask Jamil.
Nice.
Jamil was telling me yes. And then when I went to Scottsdale, Arizona, guess who was there? Jamil. Met me in person, shook my hand. And that night I got a text, hey, I'm going to be on your YouTube channel.
Nice.
You can't make it up. All I
Yeah.
tell people is that keep going. Keep putting in the work. Don't expect anything. Just do what you're supposed to do and do it well.
I love that. Yeah, I think a lot of times, especially when people see this industry, it's like, oh, they see big checks, big money, Mercedes-Benz, all the good stuff. But there's a lot of sleepless
setbacks.
nights.
A lot of sleepless nights. This past year, I closed on 88 doors. So I was able to close on an A-class opportunity in Athens, Georgia. It's a multifamily, 87 units with 5 businesses attached. And we're still raising for that, so I haven't posted it on social media yet. But as soon as we get the last 5 investors, they have to be accredited. We're going to go ahead and post that. And we were invited to a yacht, so I'll be in Miami on the 29th for that. Ooh. But I was able to get my first creative property. It's in Baltimore, but it's right by Johns Hopkins University.
Okay, that's a hot zone.
5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms with a pool. Wow. I gave $15,000 to the seller to walk away. Fully renovated.
Wow.
Creative. But guess what? There have been so many setbacks, things that I didn't expect when I did the business plan. I love underwriting, so I do all the numbers. And my mom and I's niche is midterm rentals. Okay. So remember I told you we were displaced for 8 to 9 months? Now we partner with insurance companies for people to stay at our property that are displaced. We also rent it out to other people, but insurance companies pay us the most. So one that she has in Clinton, Maryland, the mortgage is $2,800. We helped a veteran out of a divorce situation. She makes $11,000 a month on that one from insurance companies. Wow. Because we sleep 12 to 15 people. So if a big family is displaced, the insurance company now has to get 4 or 5 hotel rooms just to. So now paying us $350 a night is a steal.
Yeah, that's like.
And they have to book it for 30 days or more.
Nice. So you already have that set. To where you have
that was hers, so now I have mine that's in Baltimore County, and we're getting it up and running. It's been delay after delay, but it's such a learning experience. But this is what people don't tell you about the behind the scenes stuff. Like, it's not going to be perfect. You have to keep going and figure it out and get creative.
Yeah, and I love that because I think a lot of times it's easy to just give up and send somebody on their way, right? Like, I don't have time to be thinking about this. Like, I have deals. Yep. But it's like that's literally a deal that you can be making for yourself. So I think a lot of times people are just throwing stuff away that's valuable just because they don't know.
Yes, and I was a little apprehensive. I was scared to move forward because, you know, we lost the private money we had a day or two before closing. Had to push closing out, but the sellers really needed our help. They did a fix and flip, and it just went wrong. Did not sell for what they needed. The hard money payments kept coming in. Mortgage, you know, was getting behind, and we just found a way to do it. Got the private money a couple days later, closed on the property. I came into this property with no money of my own, and I'm an equity partner. Nice. Because I just have all the pieces and put them together.
Yeah, and that, I've always admired that about you, is because you're not someone who just gives up and turns around. Like, you're going to find a solution. And if you don't have the solution, you'll find someone who knows how to get you the education to provide the solution. And I love that communication you have with your clients and your partners, and just the growth. It's just, I remember, like, we talked about it before we started talking, like literally a year or so ago, we got the conversation, and I'm networking and trying to make connections, and I'm getting hung up on, or people are just like, I don't want to talk to you. I have 100 lenders. And, you know, you were excited to learn.
I'm a cold caller. Yeah. So then it was like, you know, I was so happy that you called me.
Yeah, it was like we knew the struggle. You know, we know what it's like to be hung up on, or for people to just dismiss us because they don't.
But you were coming in with value. Yeah. Hey, I'm a local lender. Here are the things I have to offer. Can I share this stuff with you? I love working with other agents in the area. How could someone hang up on you?
Yeah, I don't know. It happens more often than you think. But it was such a pleasure to have you open up to me that day and give me a conversation. And
my business was super slow. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I'm just like, why are these leads not coming in? And then maybe a month or two later, got the biggest transaction that I've done so far. And it was just like, wow. Yep. And then who could I think of? You, the only lender that's actually reached out to have a real conversation with me instead of just saying, hey, send me your clients. Right. It's a big difference. And that just showed me your client service, which is most important to me. Yes. And I want to tell you my secret. My secret is networking. I network like nobody's business. and I network intentionally. When I go to these meetups, I have my 2-liner that's going to close them. I then have my card, my digital business card. Then I'm going to follow up with them and solidify that relationship. Because I like to make friends, not just business associates. Because a friend will do anything for you, whereas someone in business, they want to know what's in it for them.
Right. I love that. Now, I know we've touched on a lot of things already, things that you've accomplished, but tell us a little bit about some of the things you have on your plate right now. What can we expect from Jael in 2024?
Oh my gosh.
And if you could please tell me the one we talked about the other day with the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, yes. So 2024 is going to be huge. So last year was the first year in my life that I made over 6 figures. And I just have to express gratitude for that, because
Nice, yes.
I came from just the serving industry. It was nowhere near 6 figures to now, from my own efforts, make 6 figures. Now I have a team of agents that are also there to support me, and now I'm going to show them how to win as well and profit share with them so that they can make 6 figures. So the biggest thing now is giving back. And like I said, I'm born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia, and it's such a high property value area.
Yeah.
But when I walked into the Boys and Girls Club of Alexandria, I couldn't believe what I saw. It was almost dilapidated. They don't have resources. Juice is a commodity. The water fountain is broken. The kids were so amazing, so kind, so respectful, and almost had nothing in there. In an area where across the street the houses are 800 to $1 million.
Right.
And these are townhomes.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand how a place for the community could get that bad.
Yeah.
It needs renovations. It needs everything. And I was in shock. So this year we are getting together to get donations, supplies, and all of those things to the Boys and Girls Club. We have their wish list. We're going to be pushing that out. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for people to come in and really give back to this club and the community in a big way. Also, on May 31st, we're going to be having a huge celebration to celebrate everything that we've done for the Boys and Girls Club of Alexandria. So it'll be a carnival day for the children to enjoy. That's going to be on a Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. because they'll be at the community club that day.
Nice.
So it's going to be huge, and the videos and marketing will be coming out and just make sure you come out and show your support. You can also volunteer. It doesn't have to be monetary. We need all the help we can get. And
Awesome.
I know you already committed, of course, so thank you.
Yeah, I think when you told me that, it was just shocking to me because, like you said, Alexandria is an affluent area. You know, especially in those certain parts where you would expect something that's giving back to the community would have better maintenance, you know, would be more well kept.
Yes.
Because they put all the tax money in making sure the streets are well kept.
Oh my gosh. Some of the schools just got redone that were just already really great. So I'm like, wow, if we can spend millions into getting an elementary school completely renovated, why don't the Boys and Girls Club at least have $50,000 to $100,000 to get it redone? And also, my great uncle was a pillar there, and he was the director and gave back 30 years of his life to there. And so many children's lives were impacted and changed because of his service. So that was the only place that I wanted to really do this at for the first community event and give back. So super important to me and my family.
Yeah, I love that because, like you said, you have the roots in there. You know, you were raised here, 5 generations. You have a lot of passion for your city and where you're from, and giving back I think is so important. Or giving. I don't like the word giving back, right? Because the community never gave us anything back. We give them, right? And I love that you're on fire for that because you don't have to be a millionaire to give to the community.
You don't.
And you don't have to use your own money to give to the community, right? Other people's money, I know we talk about that a lot when investments and buying properties, but why not use other people's money to give to people? And
the big thing is that Eminent Estates, of course, is going to be one of the main sponsors, but look at the resources I have in my sub-2 community, in the relationships I've built from networking, and look at the industry we're in. We have handymen, contractors, electricians, people we work with every day that can literally give their time to this space.
Exactly.
So why wouldn't it be me that comes back to give in a big way to change these children's lives, because I know how many kids' lives were affected in a positive way from my uncle being there and from having this safe place.
Yes.
Because some of the homes that they have to go to are not as safe as the Boys and Girls Club.
Right, I agree. The kids of today's age are the future of our generations. So if we're not pouring back into them, then we've really missed the mark. I feel, like, what are we really doing out here if we're not pouring back into the people that are going to help lead our country one day?
The youth and the elderly are really important to me.
Yeah.
Protecting them and making sure that they have what they need.
I love that. And I know for you, a lot of things on your plate. Started your team late last year. I got a chance to talk with Precious and Anais. Tell me a little bit about the team and your goals for them.
So now it's just 4 of them. It's Kyra Williams, Aeneas Granados, Fatima Granados, and Sharon Watson. Precious did make a change and go to another space.
Okay.
But I want everyone to do what's best for them.
Yep.
And in their journey and have the best fit for them. So I'm big on that. Even like with my vendors list and what I do for my clients, I want them to pick the best solutions for them and the best personality fits and stuff like that. So I think options and choices is really important. So the team, of course, are givers as well. They all are at different stages in their real estate career. So now we have a really, really inclusive strategy. I pay for leads on Bigger Pockets, pushing those to the team, helping them through those leads, and then we have a profit share system so that they can be successful, and then teaching them the ropes of becoming listing agents. So we're really focused heavily on pre-foreclosure leads, because either we can list them, we can sell them off the market, or we can make sure that they have a creative solution to help them. People don't know that in Virginia, about 640 pre-foreclosures happen within the span of 30 to 90 days. And every day, that number, that's the average.
Yeah.
So there's no way that we can help all of those people. So I think it's really important for myself and my team to really focus in on that. And that way we can control the market by bringing more inventory to it.
Yes, yes.
It's a low inventory market.
Yep. I agree. And that's kind of the same like you, where I'm always trying to find those gaps. I had somebody he's a financial advisor. He's like, every time I talk to you, you're always like analyzing something.
You have to.
And it's like, what am I here for if I'm not analyzing the situation? Like, it's not a cookie cutter type of business,
The market is always shifting. So if we don't shift with the market, we'll be out of business.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's key, is finding those opportunities that are usually overlooked. Like a lot of the loans that I'm aiming to do this year are renovation loans.
Very nice.
And construction loans.
New construction.
Right? Because what's going to happen when rates get lower, inventory is going to be low. If it's already low now, it's going to be even worse. So how do we prepare for a wave that's coming in the next year to 2 years?
Absolutely.
So being proactive now, I think, is super important, and aligning yourself with those partners that have access to certain products, because, not every lender has these capabilities.
And that's why I love your programs and everything that you do, because new construction and new builds are super important right now for us. And in this market, a lot of us and on the team are doing a lot of content targeted towards new construction. There's a lot of lack of information there, and people need to be educated that it's not even as expensive as you think. There are programs that can help you get into a brand new home, and then you don't have all of the issues that you may have buying an existing home.
Yep. Exactly.
So I think it's really important, and we are really targeting new construction as well.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about new construction is, like you said, it's people think it's unattainable, or they've went to a model home, they talked to the preferred lender, they maybe didn't have the perfect credit score, or maybe they didn't have the 10%, 20% down that they wanted and required, where that's not the only option. Like when there are little to no down payment programs, where there are opportunities to build with lower credit scores than what the preferred lender may like. So if I always encourage anyone, if you've ever talked to a new build construction preferred lender and you were denied, I don't think it's the end of the road.
Nope.
I just think you need to change routes and just talk to someone else.
It's not the end of the road when you're dealing with George, because even I've sent you people that are like a year out. They just need guidance on what to do next. As long as they're willing to put in the work, you're able to give them the coaching to say, this is what you need to do to lower the debt to income ratio. Now, in 6 months, let's reassess it and see where you are. I love that about you. You always make sure that the education piece is there, Here's the business plan or the plan for you to win,
Right.
and now let's come back. And then you still check in on them. Super important. So everything is attainable when you have a good lender on your side and a good team behind you that really is supportive of what their goals are.
Yep, I agree 100%. And I'm really excited to keep growing and learning along the way, because I know you're a bookworm, or just constantly absorbing more information, data, research. Like, I know you're one of those people that are just going to continue to just meet and over exceed on your goals, because like you said, you over prepare, you over communicate, so I think you're gonna overachieve.
Yes.
So I'm really excited, and I'm so happy that you got a chance to come out and speak with me. Please just share any last words you wanted to share, where they can find you, where we can stay up to date with what Jael's doing.
Yes, so the last huge thing on my plate that I'm working on right now is I just came out with an ebook. It's called From Selling Keys to Building Wealth, Agent Investor. So with that ebook, the last page, you get an access code to join my Facebook private community for agent investors.
Nice.
I have awesome resources like private money lenders, partners, everything that can shortcut your way to success that I had to learn the hard way. I have those things. And just like you said, I read an average of 14 books a year, not including audio books and all of the YouTube education and events that I go to learn. So education is a huge part of making your next year even better. So you have to invest in education, and you definitely have to read books, because a lot of the information you need is inside of books. You'll never hear it on a video. From the ebook and getting into the Agent Investor Network, there is an e-course coming out that allows people to learn negotiation skills, sales training, things that you're not going to learn when you take that real estate license exam, things that you actually need to win as a real estate agent. But I don't want people to just be a real estate agent and chase the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. Where's your passive income?
Yeah.
When will you ever have time and financial freedom?
Right.
So the big thing for me is I have a 3 to 5 year plan, and that's why I'm building my investor business alongside my agency business. Also, people don't know that you can be a private money lender. Simultaneously with making over 6 figures last year, I actually analyzed 11 private money opportunities for my mother. She said yes to 8, and she made over 6 figures as a private money lender, which she had no idea she could do with her 401k when she was in corporate. She moved it over to a self-directed IRA and has made extremely great returns.
Wow.
So I underwrite and I analyze those for her, and I let her know yes or no.
Nice. So you're an asset to your investors, because you're underwriting, which I think is, the most important part of a deal, is making sure there's a deal there.
And agents don't know. You can be a private money lender. We get big lump sums at one time, and you already know the real estate market. Why aren't you private money lending?
Right.
Why aren't you investing in multifamily syndications? Those are wealth builders.
Yeah.
But we don't know as agents the investment side.
Right.
But we're helping investors all the time who are making money. We're not. You're a service provider. You're not investing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
And I love how you're creating that bridge to bring more
So-
agents over to your side, and like you said,
and to give them the tools.
and go through the streamlined process, so they don't have to go through all the things that you had to go through.
Because I just realized once I finish one transaction, I got to do it all over again. Find another client and do it again and again. How long am I going to want to do that?
Yeah.
I've met some agents in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I'm like, that have never invested. Huge missed opportunity. Because we make those lump sums, they can invest. And I'm going to teach people how to do that at the same time as building their real estate agency career.
I love that, because you said the passive income. We want financial freedom, and chasing transactions just isn't going to get us there.
No
'cause
matter
have
how
to
many
keep
you
waiting.
do.
Yeah. You'll always have to go back out and chase another one. Where it's, if you set up that foundation like we talked about earlier, find those opportunities that are there for you, and put your money in a smart place that will bring back returns. So.
And we already have the real estate knowledge, but the big thing is time freedom and spending time with our families. That's super important to me.
Super important to me too. As my kids are growing, I'm like, I need to be there for their sports activities, to be there for anything that they're doing.
It makes all the difference.
I don't know about you, but I know me growing up, my dad wasn't there. He was a small businessman. He was there, but he worked so much, and he was there supportive. I don't ever want to say my dad wasn't there.
Oh, he was there.
But you know, he just wasn't able to attend a lot of my sporting events because he was working late. So it's like, yeah, I want to work hard, but I also want to work smart.
Absolutely.
So I love that you're working hard, but you're also working smart alongside that and creating a fast pass to 3 to 5 years from now to set yourself up and look
to
back.
teach other people how to do it, teach other people how to win, so that we all can experience the fun in life and to travel and all of those things that we want to do. So the biggest thing is that it's not always about charging people for these things. It's about, let me show you how to do it. As long as you want to be engaged and involved, let's do it together.
I love it. Well, you heard it from Jael. She's here to teach you. She wants to show you exactly what she's doing so that you can be successful. So don't be afraid to reach out. She's someone that loves to network. She's someone that loves to help. She's someone who serves our community. So thank you, Jael. I really appreciate you for coming out and speaking with me today.
Thank you,
I know everyone who's watching got a tremendous amount of value.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today, George. It's been an absolute honor. You definitely made me drop the nerves because you made me feel so comfortable. If anybody wants to connect with me, please reach out on all of my socials. The handle is @_JAEL.THOMAS. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Lots of great information there and live celebrity interviews. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jael.
Boom.